Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Bobby Bastra Daf Yud. It's a new month this month, Tammuz, Zman Tshuva Mimashmashim Boim. We should all have a blessed month with happiness, with good service for all Klal Yisrael, and lots of healing and wealth and Shefa Godol. We're going to start the Gemara 3 lines down. Tanya Oyer Amea Oima. Yesh lo ilabal din la'ashivcho. If a goy or Rasha comes to you and tells you, if your God, Oyevanim, who loves the poor people, why does he not take care of them and feed them? You should tell him, the reason why God doesn't feed them, because he wants us to feed them, and therefore they'll have food, and also we will be saved from Gehenna by the mitzvah of tzedakah. And this question was asked by Turunus Ropus Arosha, the Rosha by that name, it's Rabbi Akiva. What did he ask him? If your God loves poor people, why did he not feed them? So Rabbi Akiva told him that we should be saved by giving the Daniel food from Dino Shel Gehenna. So Amalei, the Rasha, told Rabbi Akiva, Adarabba, this is the bad thing to give them food when Hashem doesn't give these poor people food, so you shouldn't give them food. And he gave him a mashal. You have a king, who was angry on his servant, and he put him in jail, and he said, no one should feed him, no one should give him water. And one person went and gave him food and water. When the king heard that someone fed him, or is he not angry on this person who fed the person who shouldn't get food? For sure he's angry. You're considered like slaves of Hashem. So you're like a slave. So if Hashem doesn't give food to a person, it's like a melech who got upset with a slave, and now you go and feed him. The king Hashem will be upset with you that you're giving him food. You have a little mistake. The story is very close. Your mashal is very close to what you were saying, but there's one little difference. The melech boss of Adom, my mashal is to a king. That was angry, no one was his slave on his son, and put him in jail, and he announced, no one should give him food or drink. And one person went and gave him food and drink. When the king heard about it, doesn't he send him a present to this person who fed his kid, even though he announced his kid should starve? At the end of the day, he loves his kid and he doesn't want him to die from starvation, and he's happy that someone feeds him. The same idea with Banim, we are like Bonim of Hashem, and therefore Hashem, if he doesn't give someone food, he wants us to give him food. But Anon Kurim Bonim, how do we know that? You are sons of God. So the Rasha told Rabbi Akiva, Atem Kurim Bonim, you considered in some psukim you're called like sons, the Kurim Avodim, in other psukim you're called like slaves. When you're doing God's will, then you sons of Hashem. When you're not going in His ways, you considered slaves. And nowadays that you're doing Averis, we in Golus, Hashem's not happy with us, and therefore you're slaves, and therefore you shouldn't feed their name. Rabbi Akiva told this Rasha, the pasuk aloi kroish larov lachmecho v'ani merudim tovi bayis. And we explained that what does ani merudim tovi bayis? That the Romans are going to come into your houses and you're going to need to feed them. So ani merudim tovi bayis. That's so our days when the Romans control and we're not doing ritzon shel makoim. And afilu in that time, in the beginning of the pasuk, it says, give the poor people food. So we can see clearly in the pasuk that even when we're not doing ritzon shel makoim, you should give anim food. And therefore, Rabbi Akiva said, in any state, Hashem looks at us as His sons, not as His slaves, and therefore He wants us to feed the anim. Says the Gemara, Dorash Rabbi Yehuda bar Abshalom, Kishem shemezoinoisav shel Adam tzuvim le'Rosh Hashanah. Like a person, how much money he should be making this year, his income is announced on Rosh Hashanah on each person and each person. Also, the amount he's going to spend is also announced already in Rosh Hashanah. Zocho, if he has a schuyas, aloi proishler of lachmecho, the expenses are going to go into to do mitzvahs of tzedakah, to give poor people bread. Loi zocho, if he doesn't have schuyas, the expenses are going to go on the soldiers of the Roman soldiers that you don't want to spend on them money. Says the Gemara, ki hodu Rabbi dibnei after the Yochanan ben Zakkai, the nephews of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, that the story goes, Achozalo bechilma, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai saw a dream about them, the bole michsa shvamoi dinur, that year they're going to lose 700 dinarim. Now he never told them a thing. What he did was, asinu, shokal mineu l'tzedakah, he forced them that year, he put them a lot of pressure to give money to tzedakah for this cause, for that cause, for that cause, and they gave 683 dinarim. Hosh Gabayu Shivsa Dinri, 17 dinrim they never gave. Kimotamale Yom the Kippur, when Erev Yom Kippur came the following year, Shodu the Bekesa, the Kesa, the king, the master, sent Nekdinu, and he took from them 17 zuz. Omalu Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told his nephews, Loi Tidchilun, don't be afraid. Shivsa Dinri, the 17 dinarim Gabaychu, Shaklinu Minaychu, was something that you owed, you paid because you need to lose 700 dinarim. Amrulei, so the nephew told Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, how do you know about this? I saw that you're going to lose 700 and I took off you 683, so the 17 left. Amrulei, they told him, to the uncle, why didn't he tell us that we're going to lose 700 and would happily give 700 and wouldn't have to give 17 to this king, the Goisha king? Omalu, so Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told his nephews, Amina, I said, if I tell you you're going to lose 700 zuz, the way to save it is to give it to tzedakah, you're going to give it to tzedakah, but it won't be lishma, just because we're anyway losing this money, we might as well give it. But I wanted that this money that you're giving, you should give it on a high level of lishma without no other motive. So I never told you about it, and here he gave 683, and with a high motive, with no more outside motive, just for tzedakah, and 17 that you gave now to the Kesa, big deal. At least the other part was mamish without no bad motives, without saving yourself, it was mamish lishma, and therefore I preferred it that way. Rav Papa Avasolik Bedarga, he was climbing the ladder, Ishtamit Kare Boile Meipal, one of the levels of the ladder fell and he nearly fell. Omar Ashtok came Chayev Mandesonilon. Wow, I nearly fell off the ladder and died from a high level, and I would die like Skila, like someone who I hate should die. Like someone who Shabbos or the Zora that is Chayev Skila. What happened? What did I do wrong that I nearly got Skila? Maybe there was a poor person who came to you, and you never gave him food. And that's why, and soon we're going to see that it's like Avodah Zarah, and that's why he deserved skila. The Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, someone who puts his eyes away from tzedakah and doesn't give, as if he's idolship. It says in the pasuk in Dvarim about giving tzedakah, Yishoma lecha pen yed dovim levavcha. And it says over there, and you're not going to give tzedakah. And it says over there, blial. And it says in another pasuk in Dvarim, and it's talking about working avodah zarah. Malal on avodah zarah, like the second pasuk, talking about avodah kechavim. Afkan avodah kechavim, also someone doesn't give tzedakah, it's like he serves avodah zarah. And therefore you deserve, maybe that's why you nearly fell off this ladder, because you're not makbid to give to every oni who came to you. So the Gemara, Tanya Omer Rabbi Lothar Rabbi Yosi, called tzedakah v'chesed, she'Yisrael oisim bo'im mazeh, any tzedakah and chesed, the difference between tzedakah and chesed, tzedakah is money and chesed is with your body. They do in this world, shalom gadol, it brings a lot of peace, uprak litim gdoilim, and big Melit Yoishav Malachei Asharish Rasi explains Malachim that say good about Am Yisrael, Ben Yisrael Avim Shebashamayim. Shneimar, the proof is that in the pasuk Koyomer Hashem, Hashem said, Al tovei beimus mazdeach, Al tilech lispoid, Al tonud lehem. There's nothing to do about what's going bad to happen. Kirsafti Shloimi Meisayim, I took away the peace from this people. Es achesed ve'esarachamim. And the Pasuk says that they're going to get bad because they didn't do chesed v'rachamim. And chesed, the gemilas chasodim, when you do something good with your body, v'rachamim, that's tzedakah. Because they never gave tzedakah and gemilas chasodim, they're going to suffer. So we can see from here that if you do give chesed and rachamim, if you do give tzedakah and maisim toivim, it saves you and it brings shalom to the world. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Oima, Gdoila tzedakah is great. Shemikareves es agula, bring the gula close. Shenemar, Koyomar Hashem said, Shumri mishpot vasu tzedakah, keep the laws and do tzedakah, ki kroive Yeshua silovoi. So we can see if you do tzedakah, kroive Yeshua silovoi brings the gula. But tzidkosi ligolois, and my righteous ways are going to be unveiled. Rabbi Yehuda used to say, there's 10 strong, powerful things that are created in this world. And we're going to explain them. Number one, a mountain is kosher. It's very strong, but Barzel is the second one. You take an axe and you dig into the mountain. Barzel kosher, Barzel is hard. You put it in the fire and it melts. Ori kosher, the third one, fire is strong. With a bit of water, a lot of water, you can turn off the fire. Mine kosher, water is very strong. Go look at the tsunami, what you could do. So the winds, the clouds could come and take the water away. Avim koshim, clouds are difficult. Let's see where we're holding. So we have a mountain, metal, fire, water, clouds. So Avim Koshim, clouds are very powerful and strong. Ruach Nefers Rosam, comes the wind and it makes the clouds go away. Ruach Koshe, the wind is very strong and powerful when you have a strong wind. Number 6, Guf Soivle, the body is full of wind. Guf Koshe, body is very strong and hard. Pachat Shoivre, you have a bit of fear, it pushes you, body's trembling. Pachat Koshe, fear is very strong. Yain mefigoi, with a bit of wine, you calm down. You forget about your fears. Yain kosher, yain is very powerful. It pushes away the fear and it makes you change. Sheinu mefach koso, you sleep and you wake up as if you're not drunk anymore. Umisa kosher mikulon, and Misha is worse for everyone because it kills a person. And what pushes away Misa? It's tzedakah, matzeles min miso. If you give tzedakah, it could save you from death. It says in the pasuk, tzedakah tatzil mimoves. You give tzedakah, it saves you from death. So let's see what the 10 things: a mountain, a metal, a fire, water, clouds, wind, a body, fear, wine, and sleep, and death. And then the tzedakah saves you from all that. Can't see the difference between HaKadosh Baruch Hu to a human being. Midas Bosav Adam, Adam may be during a melech. If you give a present to the King Charles, let's say, Sofek Mikabli Moisoi, maybe you'll accept it. Sofek Ein Mikabli Moisoi Menu, maybe you won't accept it. It could be that Charles will accept the Rolls Royce you send him as a present. Sofek Roi Pnei Melech, Sofek Ein Roi Pnei Melech. It doesn't mean that because that Charles is going to have a private meeting with you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Einoi Kain is different. Adam Noisen Prutoloni, a person gives a prototoni and it's like a present to Hashem. Zoichu Mikabel Pnei Ashkina, Zoichu to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shenemar Ni Betzedek. If you give tzedakah, Ech Ze Panecha, you'll see me. And the also continues, Eshbo Ba'akitz Tmunusecha, so we're going to see what that means. Rabbi Loza learned this pasuk a bit different. He would Yoi Prutoloni, he'd first give a penny to the Oni, and only afterwards he daven Omar, and he said, you can see this in the pasuk, when will I go see you with daven in front of Hashem? After I give tzedakah. My eshbo ba'akitz tmunusecha, what's pshat at the end of the pasuk? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchok, elu talmidei chachomim sheminadedim sheinu meineim b'olam hazeh, that they keep themselves up to learn Torah. They wake up early or at night. They don't go to sleep to learn Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and God, Mashbion Miziv Ashchino, He satisfies them from the Ziv Ashchino Lo'olam haba in the next world. So that's pshat in Eshbo Ba'akitz Tmunusecha. For the schar of being awake, you'll be zoicha for Gilui Hashem. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. What's the explanation in the pasuk that it says Mal ve'Hashem choinen dal? Ilmole mikro kosov, if it's not clear pasuk, you can't say what we're going to say. We know that someone, if you give someone a loan, he's like, it says in the pasuk of Eved loy b'leishmal, he's like your slave. So if you give tzedakah to a poor person, it's like you gave a loan to Hashem because you helped Hashem's son. So it's like you gave a loan to Hashem, and then Hashem owes you. He's like your Eved, you're not allowed to say that, but Hashem owes you. And if it wouldn't be a pasuk, you can't say such a thing. Omar Rabbi bar Abba, Omar Rabbi bar Abba, Rabbi Yochanan, that's the curse that I'm going with. Ksiv, it says in the pasuk, Lo yoil oin b'yoim evra, that a lot of wealth won't help in the day of Gehenna, but tzedakah tatim u'mavis, and tzedakah is going to save you. Ksiv, and it says another pasuk, Lo yoilu oitzoris Rasha, all the oitzoris, the places where the Rasha has lots of good stuff won't help him. But tzedakah, but if you get tzedakah, tatim u'mavis will save you from death. Shtei tzedakos alon ulama. Why does it say twice tzedakah tatim u'mavis? Achas, one is coming to tell you shematzilios mimusu mishuna. If a person's chas v'sholom men die in a bad death, let's say a fire, he'll get saved. The achas shematzilios midina shegehenim, that he'll get saved from the punishment in Gehenna. Which one in the psukim is talking about shematzilios midina shegehenim? Ahu, the one dichsiv be'evra, that says in the evra dichsiv, because it says somewhere else. Yoim evra, yoim ahu, the day of Gehenna is like evra. So when it says in the pasuk, the first pasuk we said, B'yoim evra v'tzedakah tatim u'mavis, that means that tzedakah will save you from Gehenna. And which one is the one shematzilosoi mimisu mishuna, that will save you from a bad death? So the Gemara Daf Yudam base, it's talking about the case where noisno ve'enu yodeh lemi noisno. If you give it and you don't know which oni you're giving it to, it's not that you know you're giving it to this oni. So when you explain how you do that, noitlo, and the oni takes it, ve'enu yodeh lemi noitlo, he doesn't know who's the one who's giving it to him. Noisno ve'enu yodeh lemi noisno, you give it and you don't know who you're giving it to. Lafukim edem arukva. It's not like what Mar Ukva did. Mar Ukva had poor people in his neighborhood, and he'd give them quietly tzedakah underneath by the door, and the anim wouldn't know who they got it from, but he knew who he gave it to them. So here, if you give it to that anim, you don't even know which ani it goes to. It's even a greater way. Noitlo, he gives it, and the ani doesn't know who's taking it from. Lafukim the Rav Abba would put tzedakah on his back and say, whoever's poor should take it. So the poor person would take it, and he wouldn't know who's a poor person, but the poor person knew who he's taking it from. So the best way of tzedakah is that you give and you don't know who you're giving it to, and the ani takes and he doesn't know who he's getting from. How do you do that? So the Gemara you should give it to the kup of tzedakah, and therefore you don't know who it's going to, and the ani doesn't know who it's coming from. So the Gemara, I have a kasha on this. You're telling me that the best way is to give it to Aryeh tzedakah. I have a kasha. It says, how should a person be zoiche for male boys? Rabbi Lezer he should give his money to poor people. Rabbi Yishamech he should make his wife happy. He shouldn't just do tashmish without getting her excited. He should have foreplay and make her excited, and only then he should do the mitzvah. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov don't give the pushka of tzedakah money. Only if the one who's in charge on it is a great person who we can rely on. So we said before the best way is to give it to Aryeh tzedakah. Over here we're saying you shouldn't give it to Aryeh tzedakah only if it's a person like Rab Chananya ber Tardion who's in charge. Says the Gemara Teret, Kikar Minan. When did we say you should give it to Aryeh tzedakah? The Mimania law, when someone who's in charge on it is Rab Chananya ber Tardion, someone we trust, who gives it to the right name and doesn't steal anything, Chash v'Shalom, and is very trustworthy. Omar Moshe lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe Rabbeinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono shel Olam, Master of the world, b'ma Torah Keren Yisrael, how are we gonna put up the value of Am Yisrael? Omar Loi, so Hashem, the Master of the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, when you count them, you should take tzedakah from them, meaning the giving tzedakah, that's gonna make them go up. Omar Avo, Shalu Shlomo ben David asked the king Shlomo, the son of David, Ad eichon koiche shel tzedakah, how much power does tzedakah have? Amalon, so Shlomo answered to them, Tzu veru ma pirush David Abba, go look and tell him what my father David wrote. Pizer nosan levyonim Someone gave money to poor people. His righteous stands forever. Parnoi, his Karen, Torah Mechovoid will have lots of covet. So you can see tzedakah gives you tzedek and Karen, puts up your Karen. Rav Abba Omar Maracha brings a different pasuk what we see about tzedakah. It says, "Hu miroimim ishkoin." He's gonna sit on the top place. Mitzuda sloim is govoy. He's gonna be on the high rocks. Lachmoy nosan. He gave him bread. Meimov neimonim. His waters are neimon. Matam miroimim eshkoin. What's the reason this person sits at the top? Mitzuda sloim is govoy. He has a very good place on the top of the rocks. Mishum, because the lachmoy nosan umeimov neimonim, because he gave out tzedakah. They asked Shlomo the king, Ezu ben olam haba, hu zoiche olam haba, Amar lehem kol shekeneged skenov kovod. Rashi says, the people who get covered in this world because they have a lot of chokhmah and zikna. Like the story of the Rav Yosef, the Rav Yeshua, Cholish, he got weak, ingid, he fainted. Amar le avua, his father told him, my chozis, when you went to the other world, what did you see? I saw in the next world, upside down world, people who in this world are very choshev and people give them covered are sitting in the next world at the bottom. The tachtoinim, people who everyone say, hey, stam a pashta yid, the malo, they're sitting at the top. So he didn't see olam afuch, he saw a clear world, because that's the truth. Sometimes a simple person is very great and no one gives them covet in this world. And some of the people who get a lot of covet, the big Rishonim. So he asked them, where were we in next world? Like we have covet in this world, we also have covet in the next world. And I heard that they say in Shemayim, Ashrei mi shebo lekan, the blessed is the one who comes up here and he learned Torah. And they also said, I heard up there in Shemayim, Arugi Malchus, one who gets killed from the Goyim, because they're Jewish, on such a high level that no one else could stand in their level because they're so holy. Maninu. Who was these Arugi Malchus? Ileim Rabbi Akiva bechaver like Asura Arugi Malchus, like Rabbi Akiva, that they killed him and they taken off his skin, and he said Kriya Shema. Mishum Arugi Malchus is the reason why that he's so up there, because they got killed, the Tuloi, and that's the only reason why they get covered over there and in a high place. Pshita belav ochinami, even without them being Arugi Malchus, Rabbi Akiva was a great Talmid Chacham. Ella Arugi Lud, and Rashi explained that the story was that there was a daughter of the king who got killed. And they blamed it on the Jews, and these two brothers came and said, we did it, and it wasn't them, and they took on themselves, and they got killed because of that. And they, even though that they were not big tzaddikim, but because they got killed to save Klal Yisrael, they were on a very, very high darga. And also today, obviously, all the soldiers who get killed to save Am Yisrael from the mechablim, from the terrorists, they're also like Arugi Malchus, and ein kol bria yichol lamoid b'mechitzosam. Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, Omar lohen Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai letalmido. Rabbi Yochanan told his talmidim, asked them a shayla, Bonai, my kids, Ma'u sh'omar HaKosov, please explain me pshat in this pasuk. What did they tell in the pasuk? Tzedakah tiroimim goy. Tzedakah will put up a goy. The chesed lumim, and the chesed of the nations as chatos is like avera. So now we're going to see lots of explanations to this pasuk. Nana Rabbi Eliezer v'Omar, Rabbi Eliezer Tamid stood up and said, tzedakah tiroimim goy, elu Yisrael, it means when the Jews do tzedakah, it's going to lift them up. And how do we know that goy means Yisrael? Techsiv, it's in the pasuk, mi k'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. So we could see that Klal Yisrael are goy. V'chesed lumim chatos kol tzedakah v'chesed shumo yitzov v'chovim oisim. Even the chesed and the tzedakah that they do, chetu lohem. It's like a sin. They're only doing it to get greater. They're not doing it for a good reason. Like it's in the pasuk, Di lehavon makrivin nichoichim leelo shmai umatzli nechayim malko ubinoi. So that the reason why they gave tzedakah and why they daven to Hashem, just to have a good, to get greater, but not because to do a mitzvah, and therefore it's like a chatos. Says the Gemara of Gemuri, someone who gives tzedakah just to get some good benefit out of it. That's not considered tzaddik gomer. Tanya, we learned in the Brisa, someone says this coin, this seller, Zu letzedakah, you should go to tzedakah b'shvil sheichin b'ni, that my son should get saved and should live, u'b'shvil she'eske lo'olam haba, that I should be zoiche lo'olam haba. Aryeh the tzaddik gomer, even though they had the intention, it's a tzaddik gomer. So how do we say about the goyim that it's not considered tzaddik gomer? So the Gemara, loikasha can be strong, can be with kechovim. One is talking by a Jew, and one there is a tzaddik gomer, and one's talking about with kechovim. And Rashi explains it's not stam. We have a different din to a goy and to a Jew. A Jew, when he gives it to save his son, even if his son chas v'shalom passes away, he's happy they gave tzedakah, but goy, he gives a type of one condition, only that my son should get saved. And if his son doesn't get saved, he's upset. Why did they give tzedakah? And that's a difference, and that's why we look at it as a chait. So now that was the first explanation of Rabbi Lozo to this pasuk. Now Rabbi Yeshua ba'Omar, a different explanation of the pasuk, very similar but a bit different. Tzedakah to Reimim goy elu Yisrael d'chsivu mikam ko Yisrael goy echod. Like we said before, v'chesed lo mimchatos kol tzedakah v'chesed she'umo osef d'kechovim oisim, all the tzedakah and chesed that the goyim do, cheitu lohem. It's like a sin she'en oisim elo kedei shetimshech malchusom. The reason why they do it is only that the kingdom should continue, but not for a good reason. Shneimar lehen, the pasuk I think in Daniel, lehen malkom malki ishpar aloch v'chatoch v'tzidkoch broik v'aviosoch b'meichan anyon henke abi arkolish livosoch. It's about Daniel gave him Nebuchadnezzar. We learned it earlier here in Bava Basra. Told him if you want to get saved from the bad dream, you should give tzedakah and b'choinin anim and it will save you. So we can see the only reason why they do it is to have a longer kingdom. So that's why it's considered a chait. Now, Rab Gamliel ba'Omar, he explained a different explanation. The pasuk tzedakah to roimim goy elu Yisrael d'chsiv mikam ko Yisrael, like we said before. V'chesed lo minchatos kol tzedakah v'chesed she'akum oisim cheitu lohem. Why the chait for them? She'ein oisim elo lisyarboy. The reason why they do it is to be gaivadik. Oh, I give charity, but it's not because they have a good intention to give charity. Kol hamisyar, it's someone who's a bal gaiva noifel begehenem, he falls in gehenem. Shenemar, it's in the pasuk Zayd Yohir Leit Shmoy Oisei Be'evras Zodoim, and it's about someone Yohir is a bal gaivadik, and it says that he gets to Evras Zodoim. Vein Evro, like we learned before, Elo Gehenem Shenemar Yoim Evro Ayoim. So we could see that if you bal gaiva, you go to Gehenem. So these people give tzedakah only to say, "Oh, I give charity." That's why it's considered like a chait. Omar Gamliel, Adain anu tzrichim lemudoi. Rabbi Loza Amudoi never explained. So Rabbi Loza Amudoi, he explains tzedakah to Reim goy elu Yisrael d'chsiv mikam ko Yisrael goy echod. V'chesed lo michatos kol tzedakah v'chesed she'akum oisim cheitu lohem. It's like a sin. Why she'ein oisim elo lecharef oisom? The reason why they get tzedakah is to push us down, and they should have control over us. Boy, shenemar, it says vayovoy vayas Hashem kasher diber. So it's a pasuk about in Yirmiyah that the king said, the bad king who destroyed Klal Yisrael, Nevuzradon his name is, and he told Yirmiyah that I took them in Golus because they didn't do chatoinam, and they're happy to punish us. So the reason why they give tzedakah is to punish us, so that's why it's considered like a chait. Nana Rabbi Nechunu ben Akona ba'Omar, Rabbi Nechunu ben Akona said, tzedakah to Reimim goy, he's learning this whole pasuk different. Tzedakah to Reimim goy v'chesed leYisrael. We split this pasuk different to we learned until now. Until now we learned tzedakah to Reimim goy and then chesed lo mimchatos. Now we're saying no, tzedakah to Reimim goy v'chesed. All that is leYisrael. LeYisrael do tzedakah and chesed. U'lo mimchatos, and for the umim they don't do tzedakahs, all they do is sins. And that's pshat in the pasuk. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai told to the Talmido, I heard all you pshatim in this pasuk. Nirin divrei Rabbi Nechunu ben Akona. This last explanation of Rabbi Nechunu ben Akona, it looks like the best divrei from what I said, and we're going to see in a minute what he said, and we divreichem from all your explanations. Lefi, why that? Because he gives also he's learning pshat and pasuk that also tzedakah and also chesed goes about the Jews, and to all the rest of the nations only sins. Michlal, said the Gemara, okay, very good. Michlal, Duhu Nam Yoma, since he said that Rabbi Chuli ben Akona's best pshat when all your pshatim and my pshat, it must be that he also said a pshat. Mahi, what did he say? Tanya Omar learned Rabbi Yechon ben Zakkai, he learned to also a whole different pshat. Kashem Shachatos Mechaperes al Yisrael, like Chatos, a korban Chatos is Mechapa, it redeems the Jewish people. Kach Tzedakah, like the saying Tzedakah Mechaperes al Umas Oilom, when the Goyim give Tzedakah, he redeems them. But still, he liked Rabbi Chuli ben Akona's explanation better. Says the Gemara, Ifriz Hurmuz, this lady, her name was Hifra Hurmuz, we learned about her earlier. Imidishvar Malko, she was a mother of the king of Persia. Shadra Abba Moedinur leKamed Rav Ami, she sent 400 zuz to Rav Ami, but Kablinu, he never accepted the money. So Shadrinu Kamed Rava, she sent the money in front of Rava, Kablinu, and he accepted it. Mishum Shloi Malchus, she didn't want to fight with her because she was the mother of the king. Shomar Rav Ami heard Ikpid. He got upset to Rav. Omar Lesley, does he not know the pasuk Biyovesh Ketzira Tishabarno Noshim Boys Miyuros Oiso? That Biyovesh Ketzira means when the chosim of the goyim are going to finish, they're going to dry up. Then Tishabarno, then they'll be broken. So if you give tzedakah for them, you're gonna give them more schuyas and they're going to last longer. Why are you accepting from this lady? Rava mishum shloi malchus. He didn't want to fight with the kingdom. Rav Ami nami mishum shloi malchus. And Rav Ami nami mishum shloi malchus. Rav Ami should have accepted from the shloi malchus. The boile lemiflaginu la'aniyah b'chachamim. He should give it to the goyim, anin goyim, and therefore should be happy, and also wouldn't give us so much schuyas, and therefore they wouldn't last longer. So the Gemara, Rava never gave it to Jewish anim, he gave it to anim of the Kechovim. Rav Ami the Ikped, the Rami got upset with him, he never knew that Rava gave it to anim of the Kechovim before he gave it to anim Israel, and therefore he was upset. He's giving them schuyas, and now they're going to last longer. We don't want them to last longer, the Persian kingdom. We want them to demolish, and we should get our kingdom back. And therefore he got upset, but really what Rava did, he wasn't really upset with him. Everyone should have a blessed chodesh, a happy chodesh, mutzlach ha'kedich chodesh, lots of bracha, lots of siyata d'shmaya, lots of hashgacha pratis. Thank you very much.